Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about that perfect sales call. At Luminaire, we had a very strict rule: no show up and throw up. You've seen it 1,000 times. The meeting starts, everyone's staring at each other. There's silence. If you're on Zoom, they've turned off their cameras. Finally, the person who is the leader shows up, who's a few minutes late from their previous meeting, running over and says, "All right, guys, let's go. What do you got for us?" The salesperson pulls up the PowerPoint presentation, shares their screen, and gets into it. They talk about how great they are. They talk about the history of the company. They talk about the product, and they talk and they talk and they talk. Guess what? Everybody on that call with their cameras off, they ain't listening. They're checking their emails. They're going to the bathroom. They're making that next cup of coffee. How do I know? I've done it. I've shown up and thrown up. And then we stopped. We started building a new culture on sales. We started the 80-20 rule. Ask them, why did you come on this call today? What made you curious? What do you look at when you think about this problem? What's keeping you up at night? What are the 5 things you want to accomplish when you solve this problem? How do you measure these? In our last video, we talked about metrics and how metrics should be constantly measured, and they're probably already measuring them. Ask them what the perfect solution looks like. These are smart people. This is their job. They are on this call because they think that you might have the answer. They're not there to waste your time or their time. More importantly, if you're not listening to the customer, you're actually hating on them by wasting their time. Keep asking why and be genuinely curious and get to the actual root issue. If you do this, you've gotten to win half the battle already. Repeat back to them what you think they told you. And they'll either correct you or they'll say something like, "Yeah, that's right. So, if I understand you correctly, your biggest hurdle is that your sepsis alerts have a 50% false positive rate, and everybody hates the alarm that's going off in the medical record system. If I understood you correctly, you're saying that sepsis is the number one cause of ICU overstays. If I understood you correctly, sepsis is the leading cause of mortality with a 30 to 50% death rate. That's right." And now people know that they're listening. If I understand correctly, your Q1, Q2 objectives are to reduce the sepsis mortality rate, to reduce ICU length of stay by 10% each. That's right. Now they know that you're listening. Start the after action review culture of listening. At Luminaire, we often had multiple people listening in on a call, and then we did a very brutal AR, after action review. And we're going to talk about this a little bit in my founder series on company culture. You have to be disciplined. You ain't there to show off how great you are with words or you're there to find out why the patient is bleeding. You're there to find out why the patient has pain. You're there to find out what they've already done to try and get better and what they've done that's failed so that you're not pitching to them the same solution that just didn't work. You need immediate trust, and you can do that by listening. You're an expert at selling insight, not a commodity. If you do this right, a strange thing is going to happen at the end of this 5 minute call. You won't have to beg for a follow up. What's going to happen is that leader who usually comes late to the meeting, you're going to be the reason they're late to the next meeting. They're going to pull up their calendar and say, "This is really interesting. We didn't get enough time to talk about what you actually do or what you do for your solution, but we seem to be looking at the problem the same way. So I'd like to actually spend more time getting to know what you guys do." And they'll pull up their calendar. In fact, here's a big deal. If they say, "I need to go get the chief medical officer or the head of quality on the next call," I have their calendar up and I'm sending the invite just now, that was a successful first call. And that should be your expectation, because if they're not doing that and you're not getting pulled into their system, you're not really solving their problem and you're just wasting your time and their time. So here's your homework for this video. Record your sales pitch. Listen back to it. Do you spend more time talking or do you spend more time listening? Do you talk about your features in the first call, or are you talking more about problems? Have you repeated the problem back to them? Do they understand that you understand? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, subscribe, like, and share so that others can be helped. And I know that you want more content like this. Thanks again for listening.